So, hi everyone. Thank you very much for coming to the webinar about building a marketing data warehouse with BigQuery and Supermetrics. My name is Christina Grinko. I'm a head of data at Better and Stronger. So I'm also a guest lecturer at some French universities, and I made a online course at CXL about BigQuery. So you can go check it out. And I also participated in the organization of different measure camp in France and data camps. So today in the agenda, I will do the quick introduction about Supermetrics and about Better and Stronger, my agency. Then we will talk about marketing data warehouse. Why do you need it and how do you build it exactly? Some advantages and examples. We will talk about Google BigQuery, why and how you can start with Google BigQuery. We will talk about Supermetrics as well. And then we will wrap up and I will give you some useful links that you can go check to go deeper in your knowledge of BigQuery and about data warehouses. So about Supermetrics. So Supermetrics, they connect. They can help you to connect with your data. What do they exactly do? They create plenty of different connectors for different ads and analytics and A/B testing or emailing platforms with different data warehouses, spreadsheet platforms, or reporting tools like Power BI, Looker, Tableau, Click, etc. We will see later on how exactly can you use Supermetrics for your marketing data warehouses. So Supermetrics, they're pretty big. They have a lot of users all over the world. They function in more than 120 countries, and they operate with the ad spend of more than 25 billion euros for now. And they have plenty of different clients that you've certainly heard of. What about my agency? Quick introduction. Well, we activate data creatively. Well, actually, what it means that we do a lot of digital marketing for our clients, but using the data. All our decisions are based on the data we gather and the investments decision as well. So what about the departments of Better and Stronger? We have 3 departments, storytelling, performance, and data. And storytelling is everything that is about brand content creation, social media strategy, etc. Performance, paid social, search engine marketing, display marketing, retargeting, inbound marketing. And data, we do some data analytics, data visualization, some business intelligence, reporting, automation, and so on. And we're French, but international because we operate campaigns in 70 countries, and we have consultants that speak 10 languages at least. For now, we have offices in France and in Sweden. So let's go straight to the point. Marketing data warehouse. What is that? So it's a place, it's a unified destination for storing and analyzing all your marketing data. So the place where you can load all your marketing data that you have in order to analyze it and in order to create some reports based on this data. And some of the characteristics of the modern marketing data warehouse is that it has to be able to connect multiple data sources for a best period of time, because you will certainly need to compare your data year on year or for the last several years. You will need some quality, consistency, and accuracy in your data warehouse. And it has to be easily accessed, your data warehouse, by every member of your team. and it needs to have a high-speed query performance. It means wherever you want to get some data, whenever you need some data, you will have to be able to access it rapidly on demand and in a matter of minutes or seconds. So you will hear often the terms like data lake, raw data, and data warehouse. What's the difference? So raw data, you can imagine just all the data you have, all your spreadsheets, your Excel files that are on your notebook or on Drive, Google Drive, for example. All the data that you can imagine that you can store somewhere. So this is your raw data. And imagine if you have one place where you can go and load all this data without the transformation. You can just have some kind of a place where you can go and load all this data, all your CSV files or your Excel files, your reports, etc. So this will be a data lake. It's just your data that is not well properly organized, but it just in your data lake where you can find it, centralized in your data lake. So data warehouse is a place where your data is more organized. So when you load the data from data lake to data warehouse, you will certainly need to prepare this data at first, to clean it, to tidy it, to transform it, so you can organize it well in your data warehouse. In your data warehouse, you will see that you will have some groups of data, like, for example, you will have a place with all your ads data, a place with all your analytics data, and all it is well organized and cleaned. Usually the process of transforming, cleaning data is called, and loading it to data warehouse is called ETL, or ELT, or EL. You will certainly hear these terms somewhere, so you know, ETL is when you extract your data from data lake, you transform it if needed, and you load it to data warehouse. Imagine that you have plenty of CRM data in your data lake, and you say, hey, in my data warehouse, in my marketing data warehouse, I just only need like 5 fields. Agency, like agency that received the contact, the name of the contact, and the date of this contact, for example. I will need only 3 fields for my analysis and for my reporting. So you will transform this data to retrieve only the 3 fields, and you will store it on a constant basis in your data warehouse, for example. So I hope you understood the difference. What about data warehouse, marketing data warehouse? Why do you need it exactly? What are the advantages? So storing all your data in one place, all your marketing data in one place, will give you the possibility to compare easily all your paid campaigns, for example, across networks, link advertising data with your web analytics data, with your CRM data, and to be able actually to link the sources and to analyze them all together. The second advantage is that you can access the historical data. Some marketing platforms only can store your data for a limited period of time, and you will need to access this historical data to know how you performed in the past. So it's a good idea to have your data stored somewhere in your own place, in your data warehouse, where you can access it whenever you want. So the next advantage is to enrich your BI reporting. So usually in big companies, there is a marketing department and BI department. And usually BI department doesn't really have an access to marketing data because it's not really well stored somewhere in one place, because it's all over different platforms, ad platforms, and it will be cool to share your marketing data with your BI reporting to enrich their analysis and their performance. you can connect, when you have all your data stored in one place in your data warehouse, you can connect easily to dashboard and reporting tools. This is one of the advantages that I love most, is the fact that you can actually connect your data warehouse to any reporting tools and automate completely all your reporting and spend much less time on it. And the last advantage, I think that we can find more of them, but for today, the last advantage for me is the activation of your data, the possibility to activate your data. It means that you can build some user segments in your data warehouse, your audience, that you can share afterwards with your marketing automation platforms, your CRM, and your ad platforms. So if you ask what's the difference between marketing data warehouse when you store all your data and, for example, between my analytics platforms, like analytics, Google Analytics, for example. Yeah, in Google Analytics, we can go and import some outside data, some offline data, for example. We can import some cost data from ad platform as well. But actually, in analytics, you don't really have a lot of possibility to play with your data as you want and to combine it as you want. It is prepared for you. There's a number of different reports that you can access. You can build your reports based on these reports and the data that is prepared for you by Google Analytics, but you don't really have an access to a raw tidy data that you can combine as you wish and to plug it into different sources like external sources like Power BI, for example, etc. So it's just like if we imagine the recipes, you have your cookie preparations and you can do only the cookie with this. Whereas if you have your marketing data warehouse where you have all your data ingredients prepared for you, then you can combine these ingredients as you wish and prepare anything you want. It's an important point to talk about marketing data warehouse cloud or on-premise. So today we talk more about cloud data warehouses. Where it's when all your data is stored in cloud, like Google Cloud or Amazon or Microsoft Azure, and you don't need to invest in servers or IT teams to manage this ecosystem, this cloud system. Whereas on-premises, in on-premises data warehouse, you will need the servers located on site, located at your organization that will store your data, and is often on-premises data warehouses, they require extensive investment at the beginning in IT teams to support it and to build it. So we'll talk about cloud data warehouses like Google BigQuery, for example. So just two quick examples of the clients who decided to move from storing data in spreadsheet to cloud data warehouse. So the first client managed to, after moving to the data into cloud data warehouse, they managed to improve the consistency of data and to save money and time. How and why? Imagine that you have plenty of different marketing data stored in spreadsheet and managed by different people. It means that the human error can be huge whenever someone filled in the spreadsheet and made some error, and then the spreadsheet was used in other reports. Imagine the amount of time spent on doing this report and afterwards on correction of this report because the basic spreadsheet data was not correct. So the possibility to store your data all in one place in marketing data warehouse and to connect it to an external reporting tool, it gives you the possibility to have to spend much less time on reporting and to spend less money on paying someone who does this reporting. So what about the second client? For them, the important part was to centralize their historical data in one place and to be able to grow their business thanks to analyzing this data, because they were able to do some advanced analysis on this data and be able to answer some important questions about their business and to know how they can move further in their development to get more subscriptions. So the two important points of this client were that they could gain more in speed and efficiency of their marketing operations and reporting. So when you try to build your marketing data warehouse, there are often several stages in this process. At first, you will need to define your needs, your personal needs, your company needs in a data warehouse. Okay, you will say, yeah, I'll definitely need my data warehouse, but what do I exactly need in terms of reporting, in terms of analysis, and in terms of user segmentation? Will I need to segment my audience to be able to retarget them with interesting ads, for example? What about reporting? What kind of reporting I will build based on this data? And for who, especially for who? That is important. What kind of analysis I will be able to do with all the data I have in my marketing data warehouse. So the second stage is that you'll need to define your internal and external data sources. What do I mean by saying internal? It means the information that is stored in-house, like if you've created your in-house CRM, in your company, it means that this CRM is only known by people in your company, and you own this data, you own this system, and you will not be able to find some existing connectors to connect this data with your future data warehouse. So that is why you need to list at first what type of internal sources you have, so you will be able to understand in future if you need to have some connectors developed by your developers to connect your internal data to your data warehouse. And then you will have to list some external sources like your ad platforms data, your analytics data that you will need to connect to your data warehouse. And with external sources, normally we all use the same analytics and ads platforms, and they are already connectors that exist for these external sources. Then the third stage, you will need to draw your data schema for your future marketing data warehouse. So you can draw it at first on a piece of paper, even to understand what exactly how many tables of data you will need, what fields will be available in your tables. So you can just draw a quick schema on of your data warehouse at first to understand, with all the internal and external sources you have, and with all the needs that you listed previously, what exactly you will need in your data schema. So then you will need certainly to choose the cloud data platform. For example, today we will talk about Google BigQuery, but you can choose as well Amazon Redshift or Microsoft Azure Cloud Data Warehouse. So it's up to you. Then you will need on how you will connect your data sources to your cloud data warehouse. So for internal sources, you know that you will certainly need to develop some connection to send this data to your data warehouse or at first to your data lake. And for external sources, you will think about existing connectors like Supermetrics, for example, that are able to connect your ad platforms data and send it to your marketing data warehouse. So, and afterwards, you will need to start to connecting your data sources to your data warehouse, and then start exploiting it. It means start to build your reporting, do your user segmentation, and data activation. So this is the example of the schema that I drew for one of my clients. I knew that we will need to connect to some Google Sheets data. And for this one, we have a natural connector between Google Sheets and Google BigQuery. I knew that I would need some Facebook data and some Google Analytics data, and I used Supermetrics connectors for that. And I knew that I would need in-house connectors for my backend and CRM systems. And then I will be able, once it's all stored in my data warehouse in Google BigQuery, I will be able to connect it easily with Google Data Studio and to build my reports based on all this data. Important point here is that for Google Analytics, you have a natural connection between Google Analytics 360 paid version with Google BigQuery. For the standard version, for the free version of Google Analytics, you will not have a natural connection. You will need to use a connector like, for example, Supermetrics. You will need to use the external connector for that one. But if you have a paid version of Google Analytics, no worries, you have a natural connection between Google BigQuery and Google Analytics. That is, by the way, one of the advantages of the paid version of Google Analytics. So this is a more detailed schema of the external and internal sources, like GA hits, Google Analytics hits, what exactly the data that I will need. For CRM, I listed only like 5 columns of data that I will need. So I needed to explain this to my developers so that they can send me like once per day all this data to cloud storage. And then I can get it to BigQuery. So I needed to list the fields that I will need, the information that I will need in my data warehouses from my CRM, because CRM actually contains a lot of data, but I don't need all of this in my data warehouse. Because finally the goal of data warehouse to have a clean and tidy data that I actually need, not all of the data. We know that for all of the data, we can use a data lake. So what exactly is BigQuery? BigQuery is a part of Google Cloud Platform. It's one of the tools of Google Cloud Platform that can give you the possibility to stock your data for 2 cents per gigabyte, and to query this data, to address to this data for $5 per terabyte, which means 1,000 gigabytes. And every first terabyte per month is free. You'll need some basic SQL knowledge to work with BigQuery. And actually, they offer $300 to test their tool. So you can create your account, share your credit card data, and then you can subscribe to a free trial of $300. But if you want to test BigQuery to play with it without putting your credit card, it's also possible, because it's recently Google BigQuery, they introduced Google BigQuery Sandbox, where you can play with the public data sets without entering your credit card data. So the structure of Google BigQuery, well, Google BigQuery, it will be a part of your cloud project. You will need to create your cloud project on Google Cloud Platform, and then you will have an access to Google BigQuery. So the important terms to understand here is BigQuery contains data sets, the groups of your data, your data sets will depend on you, how you want to organize your future data warehouse. So it's possible that you will have a data set per Bing ads, per ads platform, like one for Bing ads, another one for Google ads, etc. And inside every data set, you will have several or one table with data, with actual data. We will see in the example at the end of the presentation in the BigQuery interface, how do you structure your data. And the important term to understand is jobs. It's like a task. You can say differently, call it task. It's every operation that you do with the data in BigQuery. For example, if you query your data in BigQuery, it will be called query jobs. If you create data in BigQuery, it will be called create jobs, etc. It's just the name of tasks, different tasks that you can operate with BigQuery or in your cloud project. And you can have a team access in your cloud project, and you can give an access to someone to be able to see only your BigQuery data, but this person will not be able to work with this data, to analyze it or query it. He will be only able to see the data, for example. Or you can share an access data, like create level of data, of access, sorry, and this person will be able to create some queries and to query your data that you store in BigQuery. So there are really plenty of different possibilities to give access to your team for cloud project and for BigQuery specifically. So what about the payment structure? I think it's interesting to understand. When you create your cloud project, you will be able also create your organization. For example, in Better and Stronger, we have an organization for us that we've created in our cloud account, organization Better and Stronger, that can have access to several projects. Some of these projects are our clients' projects, and we can have an access to this project without having an access to billing account. But for some of our clients, we pay directly to Google Cloud for them, and we have a billing account that we can share with several projects. Imagine that we have a client A, B, and C, and these clients, they want that we pay for them to Google, and then they will pay us back. So we create our billing account, which is available to our organization, and then we can share this billing account with all this project that we want to pay for. But once again, we can have our organization can have an access to a project D, for example, but we will not be able to access the billing account of this D project. So for example, the client gives us an access to his project and to his BigQuery account, to his BigQuery datasets, without giving an access to their billing account. So we will not be able to see how much we spent on this query, how much clients spent on the BigQuery use. We will just be able to analyze BigQuery data. There are several possibilities to load your data to BigQuery. You can load it manually. Of course, you will not want to load this data manually. You can use APIs, BigQuery or Cloud Storage APIs, for example, to connect your internal sources like CRM and connect your internal sources to Cloud Storage in Google BigQuery. For that one, your developers will need to develop some kind of connector that will send automatically CSV files to Google Cloud Storage, for example. And you can use existing connectors like Supermetrics, Stitch, Fivetron, and others to connect your ad or analytics platforms with your BigQuery data. Just so you know, API, it's like some kind of programming interface, it gives us the possibility to connect to BigQuery. BigQuery gives us a set of commands and methods that your developers can use to talk to BigQuery, actually. It's like a language for BigQuery that you can use to communicate with BigQuery. Two important points here about batch and streaming. So when we talk about loading your data in batch or streaming mode, it means that in batch, it processes the data once per period. Like, for example, you can go and send your CSV file to your cloud storage once per day. It will be a batch mode. But if you imagine, like, every time we have a sale, we will send this sales information to BigQuery on a constant basis. It means that you will use the streaming mode. You will stream your data constantly to BigQuery. So it will be streamed every time there's an event that happens. Whereas batch, it's simpler. It's just like you schedule a data send once per day. It will be maybe easier to understand with this schema. This is a Google schema. So for example, here below you have batch load. You load your data once per day to cloud storage. Then you can tidy your data in the tool cloud that is called Cloud Prep, and then store it in Cloud BigQuery whenever it's tidy. Whereas if you stream your data, if you get your real-time events and you stream it constantly to BigQuery, you will need some different supplementary tools to be able to deal with this streaming data. It's this pipeline is a little bit more complicated, but don't be afraid. Normally, as a marketer, you will often need a batch mode just to you will not really need to analyze your data every minute. You will only need to analyze it like once per day or once per week. So batch mode can be really comfortable for you and absolutely okay for your needs. So I'll give you my personal example for one of our clients. So I said, hey, we have internal sources, our CRM and backend data, and we have external sources. For external sources, we will use Supermetrics that will connect actually all our ads and analytics platform directly with BigQuery. We don't really have to do more, just to integrate Supermetrics with ad platforms and BigQuery, and it works. For our internal sources, we imagine that we connect, thanks to API, we connect to our cloud storage and we send CSV files on everyday basis to our cloud storage. In this case, cloud storage is a little bit like a data lake in this case. And then whenever the file appears in cloud storage, we used cloud function to load the CSV file to our existing tables in BigQuery. This cloud function, actually, you can, I think we'll be able to send you a code to use, so you can really configure it by yourself. It's not that complicated. Actually, it's possible just to copy the code and to change the name of your data set in it, in the name of your files, and it will work for you. The cloud function is just a programming interface where you can do some basic code to automate some tasks. So here I automated the task of sending CSV file on the daily basis to my BigQuery table. So about Supermetrics. So we talked that Supermetrics can help us to connect our data directly with BigQuery. And this is an end-to-end solution, so you don't really need another solutions to plug with it. and it transfers data, but it also processes this data to ready-to-use format. It actually does the task of ETL, extract, transform, load, for you. And it connects your data, your tools, external tools like Google Ads platforms, Bing Ads platforms, and others. It connects it to spreadsheets. For example, if you need your data in Google Sheets, it's possible with Supermetrics. It connects it with different BI tools and cloud data warehouses. When I talk about BI tools, it means like Power BI or Tableau software, for example. So some advantages about some information about BigQuery Supermetrics, is that they are really adapted to marketers' needs. So they created a product that is special and that is easy to understand for marketers. There's no management for your data pipelines. Once you integrated your Supermetrics, it's okay, it works. So it gives you the possibility to automate cross-channel reporting once you have all your data in one place. So they have the connectors that are really of a high quality, so it's easy to connect and to have a properly tidy data in your data warehouse. And it's really secure. It means that they don't store your logins or data when you connect to your different ad and analytics platforms. It's really important nowadays when we talk about a lot about privacy and security. It's a really important point. And for me personally, I found these advantages of Supermetrics that I want to share with you. So at first, there are a lot of platforms available in Supermetrics. For example, today you can connect your Pinterest ads data with Google BigQuery, whereas some of the connectors, they don't really have an access to Pinterest ads data today. Another important point is that there is a historical data available. Some of the connectors, when they connect your data to BigQuery, they start to gather this data from the day you created actually this integration, and you're not able to access the historical data and the data for the last year or for the year before. So it's really important, the fact that you can get historical data. So the integration is pretty easy and well explained in Supermetrics documentation. There's a possibility of free trial of 14 days, so you can go and try it by yourself without paying anything, just to see if it's useful for you or not. There's a pretty clear pricing policy, so it depends just on your account. It means that you pay per month $190 per month per account per integration. So if you connect your Bing Ads data with BigQuery, you will pay only $190 per month, and that's it. So another important advantage is that Supermetrics, they made a lot of dashboards in Data Studio, templates that you can easily integrate with your data, and you can use it. It's all created for you. You don't really have to start from scratch and to build your own reports. You can really use Supermetrics templates. And there's a lot of documentation on Supermetrics website. It's really clear, and there are many knowledge resources available on Supermetrics website. And I think that they have really useful and reactive support. Whenever you have some problem with the integration, you can reach out to the support. They will answer you really quickly. So we can go through some of the stages and how you integrate Supermetrics with BigQuery. There are several stages. You will need to enroll and authenticate. You will need to set up a transfer, And then you will be able to view your data in tables, and you will be able to report in Google Data Studio. So let's go into the details. When you are in your Google Cloud Platform, you will be able to go to Marketplace of Google Cloud Platform. Just in your in search, you can search for Marketplace. And in the Marketplace, you can search for Supermetrics, and you will find the available connectors with different platforms and BigQuery. So when you choose a connector, I will advise you at first, so to integrate this connector, you will need to click on Enroll. But I will actually advise you to click on View Sample in BigQuery, so you can go and check what actually Supermetrics propose as type of data in your tables. So you can go play with Supermetrics sample data without really needing to pay to create an account or to do the integration. So if you click on Enroll, or if you click on View Sample in BigQuery, in both cases, you will need to enable at first BigQuery API. You will get to the page BigQuery API, and you will need to click Enable in order to make Bing ads, well, not really, not only Bing ads, but every integrator in Supermetrics available. Here in this example, we use Bing Ads integrator. So when you click on View Sample in BigQuery, you will get to this table, and you can see here plenty of different examples of data, like Amazon ads data, Bing ads data, Facebook ads data. So you can go and see what are the fields available in this table. So here actually we see the examples of our BigQuery structure. Here, Supermetrics sample data. This is our project. This is the name of our project. Supermetrics public ad form example. It's the name of data set. So here you can see the Supermetrics organize their data per ad platform. So we have per ad or analytics platform. We have Adobe Analytics dataset, AdRoll dataset, Amazon Ads dataset, etc. And inside every of these datasets, you have your tables that actually contain data. So if you want to go back to the integration of Supermetrics and BigQuery, you will need to create a dataset at first that will contain your data. So here, for example, I went to my project that is called with the name that BigQuery allocated automatically. I have a project, Superb Infusion, and I've created a data set that is called Bing Ads. I choose the data location in European Union because I'm in France, and I created the data set. So I have a data set that is ready to receive the information before I create a Supermetrics connector. So I prepared this data set. It's ready to receive the information. Then I can go back to Marketplace to my Bing Ads for Supermetrics connector, and I can click on Enroll. Then I will click on Configure Transfer, and I will be redirected to this page where I will need to confirm to configure my data transfer. I will need to give it a name in transfer config name whenever I want, and I will need to choose destination. Which data set will receive this information? And we've already created previously our data set, so you will need to choose only your Bing Ads data set. So then you will need to click on Connect Source, and then you will need to click on Accept Agreement. And there's another stage. You will need to connect at first to your Google account, then to your Microsoft advertising account, And you will, when you're connected, so here I'm connected to my Microsoft advertising account. When you're connected, you will need to choose your ads account that you want to send the data from. Because I'm connected to several of my clients' accounts, I need to choose what account exactly I want to connect with my BigQuery. When I choose my account, I will go to the transfer settings where I was previously, and then I click on Save. So it's pretty easy, and if you search, you can find the explanation of Supermetrics on their website, how you do this transfer configuration. It's a pretty easy process actually to accomplish. So normally afterwards, after you click Save, it's all good. Your transfer is configured. So you will start getting data from your Microsoft advertising to your BigQuery dataset. But if you want to have your historical data, you will need to do one more manipulation. When you go back to your transfer Bing ads, you can click on more and you will need to schedule big field. So if you want to have more details on this one, you'll have the presentation afterwards, after the webinar, and you can use this link to see how to get your historical data. The process is pretty straightforward as well. Just know that you can bulk transfer up to 6 months. So if you need data for up to 1 year or 2 years, you will just need to schedule some more batches, 6 months batches of transfer. So Supermetrics, they explain it pretty clearly on their website, so you can go and check this information. So I wanted to do some quick demo with some queries. So let's go to my BigQuery account. So here I'm in BigQuery. Here you can see a word sandbox. It means that I use a free available BigQuery. I was able to access Supermetrics sample data with it. I didn't enter my credit card information, and every query that I use in the sandbox is free. I don't pay, and it doesn't cost me anything. So I can go and play with the Supermetrics sample data or with BigQuery public data, and I can go and train and do some queries without paying and without entering my credit cards data. So as I said, to use BigQuery, you will need some basic SQL knowledge, and it's not really complicated as programming language. Normally for your marketers need, you will not need a lot of knowledge in this area, and you can do some free or some cheap courses on this subject. I will give you at the end some links to the courses. So here what I did is I choose the column. So if I go back to my Bing's ads data, so here I can see in the preview mode what are the fields, the columns available in my data table, in my tables in Bing. And actually what I say here in this query, I can do it from scratch. I start from query table, so it creates a basic query like this. And I say, hey, BigQuery, please select me some fields. If I click on schema, if I click on these fields, it will automatically add these fields. So I say, hey, please choose me campaign names and calculate how many keywords I have per campaign. When we use function count, it actually counts the quantity, the number of fields and the number of elements available. So if I click on keyword IDs, it would actually calculate all the keywords available for campaign. And I will need to use a clause group by campaign, so that it can calculate the number of keywords grouped by campaign name. Let's check what it does. So here I have my campaign names and the number of keywords available per campaign. This is something that you can do today by yourself to be able to see what data Supermetrics proposed to you in BigQuery and think about how you can use it exactly in your marketing analysis. So, and actually when we've created this query, we click on Run. Actually, when you create the query to know if it's correct or not, you will see this green icon here. If it's all correct, that you can go and run the query. If, for example, you made a mistake, you will see a red icon here. And you can go and check what exactly it says. So actually we didn't put a comma, so there's a mistake. So we click on Run, and actually we can save the results. We can save the result to another BigQuery table. I will call it like test data, for example. And actually I saved it to my data set in my project here, test data. So here I saved the table here. You can click also on Explore Data, and you will be able to explore this data with Data Studio. Let's click on it to see what it makes. So here it creates a table for you. Let's change from record count to actually keyword count. We can rename a field here. So here we use Data Studio Explorer. Let's click on Save, and we will be able normally to, actually what it makes, whenever you play with the public or Supermetrics data, it's possible that when you save it, it doesn't give you really an access to this data. So I prefer sometimes if I do some tests, when I created a query, I create a table based on the result of this query. So when I created my table, it belongs to my project. So I will try to explore I will choose all the fields from this table, and then I click on Explore Data with Data Studio. I will do the same thing that I did previously. I will choose the number of keywords. I will rename my field because I didn't name it correctly at the beginning. It's possible to do in SQL. Keywords. Then I click on Save. And then I click on Share, and I can copy this table to existing report, or I can create new report. I'll see if I can copy it to existing, if I created previously a report. So it's been copied here. And if I go to Data Studio and I open a report, I can click Command V. We should click on Edit at first, and normally I can copy this data, add to report. So here I have my table from BigQuery in my Google Data Studio report. So let's go back to BigQuery. I will show you another query as well. So let's try this one. That calculates actually the number of impressions and the amount you spend per country for your ads. This is a Bing ad that we used. And another query that gives you the possibility to combine data from your Bing Ads dataset with your Google Ads dataset. So if we click on Run, what this query does, it actually calculates the whole number of impressions for your Google Ads data and for your Bing Ads data in 2019. What I exactly do here is that I select a year and the number of impression from Bing Ads table. Then I say, hey, BigQuery, please combine this table with another table, union all, with union all. We combine it with extract year from date. So we get year. It's pretty the same as previous table, year, impression, but for Google Ads data. So I combine this data. I name it with this function. I named this combination as impression per year table. And then I say select year and number of impression per year from this table, So what I did, I combined Bing Ads table with Google Ads to get the common data, the whole number of impressions. It's just one of the examples of how you actually can combine data between your platforms in Google BigQuery. Then the same, whenever you have the results, you can click on Explore with Data Studio, and you can go play with this data on Data Studio. So if we go back to our presentation, I left you some useful links about Supermetrics, how you can configure transfers in Supermetrics. You have everything you need in this presentation. And I also listed you some useful links, some database diagram design tools where you can draw your schema. Also some SQL courses. If you don't know SQL, you can start with this free course or this paid course on Udemy. Usually Udemy, they do plenty of different promotions, so you can get an access to this course like for $10 or $20. And this course is really cool. It learned me a lot about using SQL for Google BigQuery to query your data. You can go and start playing with Supermetrics sample data, as I showed you, in BigQuery Sandbox without needing to put your credit card, you only create your Google Cloud account and you can go to BigQuery Sandbox. You can use this link to see how it works. You can go play with public data and with Supermetrics data. You can even load temporarily your own data to BigQuery to play with it inside the sandbox, and it will be absolutely free, but temporary, of course. So, and you can also go and check this course on CXL about BigQuery. So that's it. I will suggest you to to go check BigQuery Sandbox, to try Supermetrics sample to see what it offers, and to think about your future marketing data warehouse. And you can ask all your questions in Q&A section, and you will be able to fill in the feedback form, the feedback window after the webinar. So we can get back to you with the answers, and we would like to receive your feedback as well. If you learn something new, it will be cool. Thank you very much.